Hello to everybody with 2 feet planted firmly on the ground. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, 1 phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi, everybody. It's Chris Gethard, and I know not everybody loves a long intro. You're going to want to skip about 8 or 9 minutes ahead. If you do that, you'll get right towards the end of the intro. But do understand, even if you skip the intro, there's some stuff that comes up in this call that's really genuinely disturbing. So just be ready for that. Hi, everybody. It's Chris Gethard. And I have to, first of all, as always, say thanks so much for listening. We are well over 400 episodes into this show. Well over 400 human conversations, 400 slices of life, 400 barely at all edited, if at all edited, looks at humanity in an age when we're all getting less personal, less connected to our communities, less willing to hear the stories of people around us, more seeking to cherry pick our own worldviews through the news we watch and the company we keep and the stories we choose to consume. Here it is, good old Beautiful Anonymous, still holding the line and saying, nope, humanity, come at us and we will platform it to the world in its rawest form. Thanks so much for allowing us to do that. Thanks to anybody out there who spreads word, lets people know about what we're doing here, because we continue to be really proud of it, and it's a real small operation here. It's just me and Andrea, but we both feel lucky. I can speak for Andrea on that one. I have to say thank you to everybody who checked out that show hosted by Chris Gethard. It was my return to hosting a variety show, comedy. We had a bunch of people buy tickets to stream it and watch it, and my guess is that a lot of them were Beautiful Anonymous fans. Thank you so much for checking it out. It felt so good to be able to bring you looks at comedians from all different experience levels and corners of the world. And, you know, the first time we did it, we have somebody as established as Judd Apatow, who obviously I don't need to tell you guys everything Judd has accomplished. And then we have Lily Armstrong, who is comparatively, I mean, certainly compared to Judd Apatow, so new in the game, but with a fresh energy and doing weird puppet-based bits and charming the whole room. And it just means the world to me to help show off the comedy world from such a wide spectrum. But all people who are kind and hardworking and good, healthy, positive members of the community. Thanks so much to everybody who checked it out. And thanks to everybody who signed up over at beautifulanonymous.com. There was a huge push before the holidays. A bunch of listeners just took it upon themselves to start kind of shouting to the hilltops like, hey, it's good. And everybody knows if we had gotten to 2,000, I would have gotten a big financial bonus. I'm not sure when that window closes, but we're at 1249 as of this recording, which is nothing to sneeze at. And when I tell you that it's deeply meaningful to me, that is true. And also, I know that it's a commitment. We work so hard on the stuff behind the paywall. I think it's very good. We try to give you a lot of value for your money, both in extra pieces of the show, extra access to phone numbers, follow-ups with past callers. And that's also where you get updates on what it's like for me owning a dog, which people seem to genuinely enjoy as part of it. So thanks to everybody who has signed up at beautifulanonymous.com. What else is there to speak of? I think that's all the housekeeping. Let me go ahead and tell you that I think this week's episode is one of the most fun ones I've ever had. The vibe is impeccable. The caller right from the start is charming and funny with a great laugh. I started off in a very bad mood, as you'll hear, and very quickly was able to let that go because the caller was so charming. That being said, I'm going to just give you a content warning at the top of this one. There is a story about something that happens to someone so close to the caller that I can say is one of the most horrifying things I've ever heard. And Andrea, I think you would agree with that. I think anyone listening, you'll know what I'm talking about. You're going to hear a story about something that happened to someone, and you're going to go, that's one of the worst things I've ever heard. Now, you may have noticed that when the first time I said it's one of the worst things you've ever heard, that there was a slight chuckle in the tone of my voice. This caller is really funny. And while talking about the most awful aspects of things that come up in this call, is laughing the hardest and making the most jokes. And we talk about that. We are in a world where I think we are so often confronted with things that are grim, that are dark, that are hard to reconcile, that sometimes our only way to cope and move forward is to find a way to alleviate that pressure through a laugh. I certainly believe in that. I think this caller demonstrates that over and over again in this call. When you hear what it is, you're going to go, it's unbelievable that this happened. And I can't believe that the caller is literally making puns about this. It's one of the most grim things I've ever heard of. But I think that's life. I think there are so many things that are shocking and brutal. And sometimes when those things present themselves to you, you got three options. One is you curl up in the fetal position and you don't function. The other is that you learn to ignore it and you just move forward as if bad things aren't happening all the time. Or third, you learn how to process those feelings, find ways to relieve that pressure, oftentimes through looking for levity when things are at their darkest. And that's how you manage to survive while not cutting off major portions of your worldview. And I bring this up because I do think we are living in an era and in a time where we are constantly barraged with news and opinions and these feeds that are crafted to keep us addicted to them by making things seem grim and hopeless and dark. And I think this call is a good example and a good reminder of we as a species are built to handle tough times. We are built to have resilience. We are built to have thick skin. And sometimes being able to laugh while talking about something horrible is actually a reflection of emotional health and growth and the ability to face a thing down instead of ignoring it. Because I will also say this, the exact types of people that make money off of convincing us that the world is so dark and so grim are also the people who I think have the most vested interest in making us so desensitized to it that we allow it to keep happening. That's how it remains a growth industry. But I think calls like this one where you go, no, we will talk about things head on. We might have to laugh to keep ourselves from going insane, but nope, we deal with it. The way to move past the tough times in life is to process them. The way to process them is to find a way to let the healing begin, and that might reflect itself in laughter in this case. Point being, I thought it was really interesting behavior in the course of an extraordinarily charming call that has some stretches that are beyond the pale with horrible specifics. I'll stop being vague. I'll stop being philosophical. You guys are the best. Thanks, everybody, for everything. Oh, my goodness. Almost forgot. Andrea, remind me to go more in depth next week. Andrea and I have to talk about how the next steps are going to go. For everybody who has signed up at beautifulanonymous.com, I can't believe I almost forgot to tell you this. The final edit of Beautiful Anonymous, the magazine, is here. We have the files. We still have to figure out how we're going to print them and distribute them, so it'll be a while before anybody can get their hands on them. That being said, Andrea and I have seen the final files. Our friend Alexis Politz, who's an incredible artist from Minnesota, designed them. And I think I speak for Andrea when I say Andrea and I are the first two people to see what it looks like. And Alexis, if you're out there listening, Alexis has done some art for the show prior. It's how we met. Alexis went so above and beyond. I think this went from a cool community experiment to just a legitimately, you're going to love having this magazine on your coffee table or next to your toilet or on your bedstand. The plan is that first dibs on the printing will go to people who are signed up at beautifulanonymous.com. We got to figure out exactly how we're going to do it. So give Andrea and I some time to get it printed and distributed it. But damn, it came out so good. And I'll tell you more about that in the coming weeks. In the meantime, enjoy this very charming, very funny, and at times completely disturbing phone call.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Is this Chris?
Yeah, it's me.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh gosh. Hi.
Hi.
I almost said my name.
It's nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you too.
How's it going?
Good. I don't know where to start. What should we chat about?
That's really up to you.
First of all, thanks for letting me call. I'm really excited.
Oh, I'm psyched you did. You have a good positive energy, and I need that today. I'm not in the best mood I've ever been in, but this is.
Oh no! What's going on?
Dumb stuff with I had a flat tire. I went to the tire place. It took them hours to fix it when they said it would be quick, and then And then I wound up leaving the car overnight and when I picked it up, I could go to drive home and the tire's still flat. And I said, you had one job.
What were they doing?
They replaced the valve on the tire. And then when they double checked it, they said, oh, there's a screw sticking out of the tire. I said, well, you probably should have noticed that the first time. And then that took a long
time. Kind of your job.
And then they said, well, we won't charge you for this. And I said, oh, you won't charge me for the thing that I'm pretty sure is cheaper than the thing you already did charge me for? Oh, so you're just overcharging me and taking quadruple as long as this should have taken. But look, at the end of the day, though, I have a very happy life. If this is my worst problem, then I'm fine. But are you catching me in a mood when I've just been mildly irritated? Yes. And also, I do live in New Jersey, and I feel like one of the unofficial state ethos, whatever. What's the plural of ethos? Whatever. There's I think
it's
right. I think it's it. But I think in New Jersey, it's like if you're gonna be dumb, at least be quick about it. So to have a bunch of stuff happens that feels dumb and took a long time, you can't with Jersey people.
Be an efficient idiot.
I don't legitimately. Most people from New Jersey that I know, it's like if you want to be an asshole, that's fine. Just be quick about it, and then we're cool.
Oh, man, I'm sorry that happened to you.
That's okay. I said, I have a good life. Things are good. How are you?
That's good. I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain either, you know? I mean, I could complain. I'm easy to do that, but...
I like that you said I can't complain either when I did just complain. To be clear.
That's okay. I have plenty of things I would complain about. Trust me.
Fair. Okay.
So, yeah. But I don't know what topics you like to talk about. I got to be honest, I haven't listened to a ton of shows, but
great.
My favorite topic ever that I'll talk about endlessly is skydiving.
Skydiving?
Yes.
I
love it.
I want to hear all about this because I'm going to tell you my skydiving is like skiing. Those are two activities that I look at and I go, I don't understand what's fun about them. Let alone to the degree that you'd put your life on the line for them. I fundamentally don't understand why you would jump out of a plane. It scares me so much.
This is true. I've had a couple times when I'm going up in the plane and my brain just goes, I need to tell everybody on this plane we need to land. This is ridiculous. What are we doing?
Have you
then
ever...
once you jump and you land, you're like, oh, that's what.
Have you ever gone up and said, I have a gut instinct, today's not the day, take me back down? Are you allowed to do that?
I have. You are definitely allowed to do that. I've had the gut instinct, but I've never had the gut. I don't want people to make fun of me for going back down, so I just go for it.
Wow.
But my last jump, I broke both my feet and my right ankle. So
What?
some would say. I mean, I have almost 500 jumps. It's bound to happen.
Did you say 500?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
So you almost compulsively skydive.
I mean, over 8 years, I don't skydive as much as some of my friends. They are out there every weekend jumping and jumping and jumping. And my kid's dad did it for work, but then he got injured this year as well. His story is even crazier.
He was a professional skydiver?
Yeah, he would train the military on how to jump out of airplanes.
Whoa. So you said kid's dad, which gives me some heads up, but it's fair to say that in the broad sense of family, you are a family intrinsically connected to skydiving.
Heck yeah. My kid at his kindergarten graduation got up and said, when I grow up, I want to be a skydiver. All the kindergarten parents are like, what's up with this family?
Were
Great
you so
parenting
happy?
over here.
Were you so happy when your kid said that?
I mean, I was, but then he comes and sits on my lap, and I've got 2 boots on my feet because they're broken. I don't know if I'm super proud of my parenting skills right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I hear that.
Yeah.
So 8 years ago, you said was your first skydive.
Yeah, I was just going to do it once because I'm terrified of heights. Still can't climb a ladder to save my life.
Really?
So it's just kind of a face the fear type of thing.
And was this when you were with your ex-partner? Was this his influence?
No, I met him skydiving. Yeah, and then he's not from this country, and I went over to visit him to do my 100th jump there, and I came back with a baby.
So your life could not be more affected by skydiving. It's fair to say.
I know it's really having quite the impact, I gotta say. I mean, yeah. Well, his accident is the craziest. I have to tell you this story because he was in the air and his leg got ripped off at 4,000 feet. And I know a lot of skydivers, we've never heard of that happening. And he tourniqueted his leg in the air.
Wait,
They found it a mile and a half away from where he landed.
What?
Yep, true story. Yep.
This is
I know, right?
The father of your
7
child?
months ago. Yes.
Wait,
yes.
when did this happen?
Last June.
So you're
after you got
so and I'm not trying to dwell on the macabre details, but just so I'm clear, you also said your kiddo graduated kindergarten, so this was after you
months after that.
So you met.
So I broke both my feet in April, and so I actually had to go to the hospital the day this happened to him, and I had my 2 broken feet, and the nurse was taking me in the room. She's like, "What happened to you?" I'm like, "Skydiving." Like, this might not be for you guys. Thank you.
Wait, his actual leg was torn off his body?
Yes, in the air at 4,000 feet.
And they found it a mile and a half away.
We had never heard of it either. Another mile and a half away.
What, can I ask what happened that detached his leg?
Yeah, so another skydiver, and like, without getting too much into the details, but yeah, he opened underneath another person that was still in free fall. So his canopy opened while that person's still going full speed down. And then that person, seeing that his canopy was opening and he was going to hit it, through his canopy. And so that guy's canopy lines wrapped around his leg and he yanked it off.
Oh my God.
I know. Isn't that insane?
And they found the leg. I'm just going to ask a bunch of questions.
Go for it.
They did find the leg. Did they reattach the leg?
No, they found part of the leg. It was shredded from what I heard. But no, there is no leg.
So
that leg is gone.
He's a professional skydiver, trains military personnel on how to skydive. Not anymore. Oh my goodness. But he's now his canopy's open and he's heading down to earth bleeding out.
Yeah, so he tourniqueted his leg in the air. Which is crazy.
Is he like
I know.
So an action movie star? What are you talking about? He's like John McClane?
He's ex-military. I would have passed out and I'd be dead. My canopy, they still would be looking for my body. Like, how did this guy do this? He tourniqueted his leg with his strap on his rig for his skydiving. Tourniqueted it so hard they couldn't get it off when he landed. And then he used his pant leg, which was no longer had a leg in it, and wrapped it around his leg and tied that off too. And then he guided himself back via canopy. And then at about 300 feet, he passed out. And then he hit the deck so hard he broke every bone in his face.
What?
I'm sorry. I shouldn't.
What are you even
Sorry.
talking about? What? Oh my goodness! His leg gets torn off.
I know.
He has enough wherewithal while
Over.
floating to the ground to use a piece of his skydiving rig, not designed to be a tourniquet, turns it into a tourniquet to stop the bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Only after that does he give himself permission to pass out, and then shattered his face.
Yeah, so from 4,000 feet to 300. Yeah, shattered his face, traumatic brain injury, had multiple strokes, broke his neck, broke ribs. Yeah.
And survived?
Yeah, well, yeah. And then the doctors were like, he's not going to wake up. He's going to be in a vegetative state forever. And then he woke up and now he's talking. He's even walking on a prosthetic leg now. It's pretty impressive. Got to give him credit. I mean, pretty incredible.
And now you two are not together anymore because you've referred to him as the...
Right.
And
he's my kid's dad. But
your kid's dad is how you phrased
which
it.
I got to say this. I break both my feet and then he loses. He always had to one-up me. You know what I mean? Losing a leg.
Oh my goodness. Am I allowed to laugh at that? Am I?
I'm sorry. I find all the humor in it. You should have seen me when the doctor came in. He had something wrong with his eye, and they were like, "We got to give you an eye patch." And I was like, "And I'm not allowed to make a pirate joke right now? Like, it's just really not. Nobody's going to say anything about this."
Oh my goodness.
It's cruel.
Now, you said he lives in a different country than you.
He was living in a different country when I got knocked up, but now like he lives here with his kid. Yeah.
When he had this accident, was he living here?
Yep. He moved over as soon as his kid was born, so he's been here years.
So you get a call that is, let's be honest, every you get that call, and the person telling you this is de facto informing you of his death. You are imagining his death. You mentioned it was a surprise.
They didn't really tell me much because it was military stuff, so they wouldn't tell me much. They're just like, he had to be life flighted. I was like, is he alive? They're like, yeah, he's alive. But I could tell they were like, nobody told me he's missing a leg. It fell off in the air. It took me weeks to find this out. Like, I thought the leg came off at landing. Like, yeah. Because, I mean, it's a company that had to keep it all private. I totally get it. I think they were afraid I would sue them, but I'm like, I'm not married to him. I don't have a leg to stand on here. Come on.
Don't do that.
Sorry.
Don't do that.
The puns are the best part. You can't take the puns away from me.
You can't. Please, no, because
Sorry. Sorry.
Well, here's the thing is like you're making jokes because you've lived through this and have rationalized it, and humor is part of healing.
It's funny.
But like, I'm just hearing about it for the first time. So if you make me laugh, I look like an asshole in a real big way.
No, not at all. Oh no. Skydivers, dude, we're brutal. One skydiver friend asked for his hospital address. He sent him a hopscotch kit. So you can laugh. It's funny.
Someone got him a hopscotch kit?
Yeah, I wanted to send him a hopscotch kit. While he's in the hospital. This is a leg.
Oh my goodness. These high adrenaline
Skydivers
people.
Are brutal.
These high adrenaline people and the way you live. You're laughing, legitimately making funny jokes in a way that's making me uncomfortable laughing. Kudos to you on that. But this is someone you're raising a kid with. You've also got to explain it to your kid. It's horrifying.
Yeah, they don't write a book on that. They don't write a book on how to tell your kid his dad lost a leg. My kid's been really good about it, though, and he still wants to go skydiving.
Has your kid ever been skydiving?
He can go when he's 7. He's not 7 yet.
Does his dad still want him to go?
Yeah, his dad wants to still go.
Has his dad been skydiving again yet since the accident?
No, I don't think they'll allow him to. His brain injury is pretty rough, but I don't know.
So when you
crazier things in the
connect with
skydiving world
him,
than that.
he's not the same guy as he was before.
No, but he's always been a super, super positive guy, and he's been real positive about everything, and keeping he's got a great humor about it. I use all the puns with him. He knows them all and laughs at them,
Wow.
But he still just doesn't realize that he has a brain injury. He just doesn't click with him. He thinks he is the same, but his memory is just definitely not there. But considering he wasn't supposed to wake up, he's doing pretty darn good.
And
pretty incredible, to be honest.
Just so I'm clear too, it sounds like you mentioned that you met skydiving after you kind of fell into this, becoming this, I don't want to say addiction or adrenaline junkie thing, but to go do it when you're like, I don't really want to, but I'll get it over with once, and then you do it 500 times over the next 8 years. It sounds like it does become this thing. You meet, you go to a different country. You described it as you got knocked up. He moves here. Did you guys, was it always just a sort of like, well, we wound up having a kid after this very sort of passionate affair? Or did
we tried to make it work. It just didn't work,
Yeah.
But we both want our kid to be happy, and I saw him yesterday going to our kids' running race, and we make jokes together, talk all the time. Like, yeah. I quit my job to take care of him while he was in the hospital for about 3 months.
Wow.
So they just had to be there every day, There's just too much going on, lots of surgeries, lots of decisions to be made, things like that. So a lot of people are like, I'd never do that for my ex-husband. I'm like, well, my kid's dad. Who cares?
How long had you guys been separated when all this went down?
We separated probably 3 or 4 years ago. Time's starting to run together. I want to say like end of 2020, so like about 4 years ago.
Damn. And now, how are your injuries healing up?
Oh, fine. I just I'm ready to get back into jumping again. I just haven't had the time because you still can't watch the kiddo alone, so we haven't gone back to the 50-50 thing. So I've got the kiddo all the time, and the bills are all on me. But I'll get back to it soon.
Does he live with you now?
His dad, no. I won't go that far.
Yeah. And again, just to sort out the timing.
He actually does an apartment, so.
I can't believe I'm about to ask this question, but I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm just asking a question based on the facts you have told me, and it sounds really blunt, but have you been skydiving since your ex-husband's leg got ripped off when he was skydiving?
No, because it happened when my feet were broken, so I still haven't gone. Yeah, I need to go back though. Like I would if I had the time right now, but I'm not scared. Like skydiving is a very safe sport. I'm really not selling it that way very well right now.
Yeah,
it is a very safe sport.
For me starting off being like, I never understood the appeal. It sounds dangerous, and then you're like, well, I'm currently recovering from massive physical injuries, and then, but also they found my ex's leg 1.5 miles away from where he landed, but it's super safe. You gotta try it.
Never said I was a good saleswoman. I was just saying. But he had been jumping for probably 15 years and never had an accident. So, both of us had never had accidents until last year. He had over 2,000 jumps.
Damn.
Yeah. So, and his and my accident were just stupid mistakes we both made. Or, you make the wrong mistake, then yes. But they were avoidable accidents. But no, skydiving in general is very, very safe.
I am not convinced.
I don't think I'm going to be able to sell that to you now, though.
Look, I'm scared of heights. I still get scared pretty much every time I fly, although I fly so much that my relationship with flying is now one of the psychologically weirdest things about me. All that being said, I've always felt very terrified of the idea of skydiving, and you are not the ambassador for this activity to sell anyone on it. Nothing about what you've told me today.
Talking people into it.
If we started at a place where I was leaning towards the I never want to do this end of the spectrum, I just need you to know you have firmly pushed me further in that direction in a way that actually my fears before were all theoretical, and all you've done is firmed them up with actual real life evidence of why I will never participate in this thing you love. Never. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, no way.
I shouldn't have started off with the injuries. Yeah, I see where I went wrong there.
Yeah, there's just there is not a world. There was already a very slim.
One time.
There's a slim world in which I ever would have done that. And I think you have thoroughly erased the possibility that I will ever do it. Although Andrea is already proposing that if we make it to 1,000 episodes someday, that I leap from a plane and we record a phone call while I'm descending. Andrea's already suggesting that, which is a really good idea. It's a really good idea.
And okay, I will say this: at our drop zone, we've never lost somebody that's done a tandem.
What?
It's the experienced skydivers, like the tandem when you're attached to somebody. Like the first time you go, you have to be attached to an instructor. That's a tandem. Like we've never had a tandem death at our drop zone. It's all the stupid experienced skydivers that think that they're good and then they make a dumb mistake. That's how you end up getting hurt.
Wait, so you said we've never had a tandem death. That does indicate that you've had
our drop zone.
But that does indicate you've had some solo deaths.
Well, there's aspects of skydiving that you can do that are trickier and harder and more likely to kill you, like wingsuiting or something called swooping. Those are things that are very dangerous to do. And if you don't have enough experience, and this is a lot of adrenaline people that want to push themselves too early, you'll end up dying doing something dumb.
So that's a yes.
For sure.
That's a yes, that you know people who have died. Let's pause there. I think everyone knows the answer. This is not much of a cliffhanger, right? It's not like we're going to come back and go, so you know people have died doing this, and she's going to go, no. That would be the most obvious cliffhanger in the history of entertainment. So anyway, we'll be back. We're going to keep hearing more stuff. In recent weeks, you've heard me do a lot of ads for our friends over at IQ Bar. And I've been able to talk a lot about how much I love IQ Bar.
Are we talking about coffee sticks?
This is my wife, Hallie, everybody. She's appeared on the show intermittently. It's been many years since they've heard you. Yes, I wanted you to talk about coffee sticks.
You didn't really warn me. You just told me to come up here, but I could tell where this was going. It was going to coffee sticks, and I'm happy to talk about coffee sticks.
Hallie, the ad's only a minute long, and there's some things I have to cover, but we're running low on coffee sticks. You texted me, I think it was yesterday, and said, what do I got to do to get more coffee sticks? I will dance. I'll dance a jig. I'll do a performance piece.
I said I would write a song about coffee sticks. I mean, I haven't prepared that. That might have to wait for next time, but I have a lot of thoughts that I could put into this composition about coffee sticks.
Why do you love coffee sticks so much?
Well, it's just that they taste so good and they're so convenient. And on a morning when I've forgotten to set up my coffee maker ahead of time, or I'm just running late, I just want a delicious, warm, tasty coffee beverage heading out the door. Just grab that coffee stick, put it in the cup, add a little hot water, done. Bida bing, bida bang.
Bida bang, bida bang. Let's also be clear. They are not called coffee sticks. They are, of course, called IQ Joe, which is IQ Bar's coffee product. But you do like calling...
Wait, they're not called coffee sticks?
You call them coffee sticks.
I've called them coffee sticks for a year.
They're called IQ Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is the first time listeners have heard from you since you forced me to get a dog. Is the dog a good dog or a bad dog?
Well, you probably heard him scratching on the door as we were recording this. But, he's like a great dog and also a supremely bad dog, like a naughty dog. He's a great, loving, mushy, very naughty dog.
Hallie, thank you so much for your stunning contributions to this advertisement. It really means a lot.
Go coffee sticks.
IQ Joe, everybody. I mean, I do not involve my wife in this show unless she's really, really passionate about something, and you can hear it. The IQ Joe product is incredible. There's also IQ Mix, which I use. It's a hydration product. Everything that IQ Bar is putting out is really high level, and I'm so happy to tell you about it. You can start the new year off right with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees, aka Hallie's favorite coffee sticks. The ultimate sampler includes all three. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners an exclusive deal, 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus you get free shipping. that ultimate sampler pack. It's a great way to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 7 IQ bars, 4 IQ mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. All IQ Bar products are entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial sweeteners, so you can trust what's in there. The flavors are great. I mean, just the IQ Joe. We've been talking so much about these legendary coffee sticks. First of all, 200 milligrams of natural caffeine. There's brain and productivity boosting ingredients in there like magnesium and lion's mane, mushroom, adaptogen. Just the flavors there. Original black, vanilla spice, cafe mocha, toasted hazelnut. You're never going to get bored. You're never going to feel like you'll always be able to switch it up with another flavor option. IQ Bar makes the #1 brain and body nutrition bar, hydration mix, and instant coffee in the U.S. There's over 15,000 5-star reviews and counting. And you could hear it. Hallie does not jump on this show unless she honestly and truly loves a product. And she very, very legitimately loves those. And anytime we're running low, always gives me the heads up. We got to restock on the IQ Joe. And I'll sit here and tell you, I love the IQ bars. I love the IQ mix. I keep them in my bag when I travel because they are so convenient and keep you feeling right. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus get free shipping. To get your 20% off, just text BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. Text BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. That's BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. Self-care is important, everybody. There's so many ways to think about self-care. And a lot of times people can make this feel very cosmic or complicated or metaphysical. But there's so many ways to think about your self-care. And one of the most basic things you can do is make sure you get good sleep habits. Make sure you're getting a good night's sleep. That change can be as simple as upgrading your sleep experience with the softest 100% organic cotton sheets from Boll & Branch. And I really love Boll & Branch products. And I really do believe in this. So many times in my life when things are stressful, when things are feeling anxious, they also coincide with bad sleep. Sometimes you sit here and go, is the bad sleep causing the anxious moments? Are the anxious moments causing the bad sleep? Either way, they go hand in hand. So get to work on the sleep experience, and Boll & Branch can help. You upgrade once with getting some Boll & Branch products that's going to offer you years of better sleep, wrapped in the most luxurious feeling imaginable. No matter the kind of day you've had, you'll get instantly relaxed when you climb into these sheets. They feel breathable, buttery soft. They get even softer with every wash. They change the way you relax. They change the way you sleep. Boll & Branch has a 30-night guarantee. I love Boll & Branch. We have a waffle blanket from Boll & Branch, and I can just tell you 100% that it has enhanced my sleep experience. I am an extraordinarily bad sleeper, but having that blanket on there is a game changer. It is a light, thin blanket that still provides an incredible amount of warmth in a way where I don't feel like I'm suffocating, and I also never feel like I'm freezing. And I know that sounds very basic, but not everybody nails that. Boll & Branch does. You feel the quality immediately, and every time you wash it, it's totally true. It's a really high quality product, and that washing only makes it feel more broken in, cozier, better fit on the bed. It's just a better sleep experience. Boll & Branch products are made different so you can sleep better at night. Woven with the finest 100% organic cotton on earth, crafted by artisans who earn the pay and respect they deserve. The signature hemmed sheet sets are incredible. There's designs and colors for every bedroom style and mattress size. These all-season sheets have a breathable, unmatched softness to start and get softer with every single wash. They're the perfect foundation for Boll & Branch's airy bed blankets, cloud-like duvets, so much more. And there's a 30-night worry-free guarantee. You can try Boll & Branch sheets for an entire month, and seriously, you can wash, style, feel the difference for yourself risk-free. If they don't change the way you sleep, send them back for a full refund. Now's your chance to change the way you sleep with Boll & Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/beautiful. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/beautiful to save 15%. Exclusions apply. See site for details. Thanks to all of our advertisers. Now let's get back to the phone call. So that's a yes. That's a yes that you know people who have died.
I'm trying to walk back now. Sorry. Dang it. I haven't. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna stop. Well, and also base jumpers. Like base jumping is the real dangerous thing. That I will.
Those
never
are the
do.
people who
That's
jump
how
off
people
mountains
really
and bridges
die.
and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and I mean that's a lot of skydivers are base jumpers, so you know a lot of them. Those people are crazy. I love them to death. A lot of them are my friends, but I don't know how they do it. It terrifies me.
Here's actually something that I feel kind of strongly about. When you bring up the base jumpers, my understanding is a lot of times they're going to places where this is not like they have not gotten a permit to do this. I don't know how true that is, but what would you say? Is that just my perception?
There's only one legal place in the U.S. to jump.
So if it's not at that, where's the one legal place?
The Idaho Bridge, Twin Falls, I believe it's called.
So
like the only legal place to.
Anybody who's base jumping in America outside of there, it's, to your knowledge right now, illegal.
Right.
I feel the same way about this.
Yeah, one of the guys who created base jumping, he jumped in Yosemite, and they were chasing him to arrest him, and he ran through a river and actually drowned. He didn't even die on the base jump. He was running from the cops.
He drowned while running away because they were going to arrest him for his base jump.
For jumping at Yosemite Park, yeah. Yep. And so then they did a memorial jump where all these jumpers came and jumped where he jumped, and they landed and just got arrested like in protest. And a girl jumped and she died right there on that day. Base jumping is like really sketchy.
I have a question.
I'm really not promoting this sport at all.
No, you're doing nothing. Well, here's the thing. These adrenaline-based activities. And again, I am not a physical daredevil by any stretch of anyone's imagination, but I have respect for a lot of it. But when I hear about base jumping, I almost feel the same way as I feel about free soloing. The documentary.
Unnecessary risk.
And happening in public places, like, you hear about Yosemite where you go, the thing I don't understand about these activities is you go, these risks are extreme, and they're often happening at places where, like, there might just be someone whose lifelong dream was to see Yosemite, and they might happen to be there on the day that you slip and fall off the face of the mountain and die. Or, someone might go, this was our family vacation, and this might be the day that a base jumper's chute doesn't open correctly. And and I'm not trying to sound like, what about the kids? But I sit there and I go,
but I totally agree. This could be scarring.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I'm with you there. It's, especially if it's at a legal place. I'm not even somebody that'll break the law, though. That's another thing. I could never, they sneak into buildings and stuff and all sorts of stuff. I can't get in trouble with the law.
Now,
all of that.
You've told me about your injuries, your ex's even more undeniably horrific injuries. We've talked about how base jumpers die and do it in public places where children might see it. Truly intriguing phone conversation, and simultaneously one of the worst endorsements of an activity I've ever heard somebody pull off. Why don't you tell me what?
It's pretty horrible endorsement.
Well, why don't we go ahead? Why don't you tell me what happened on that first jump where you were hesitant, said, I'll just do it once to get it over with, when it turned into this thing that's a major part of your identity moving forward with the rest of your life?
Right.
Let's see if we can.
I'm not an adrenaline junkie.
Okay.
At all.
Yep.
I'm terrified of heights, and I don't like that roller coaster feeling where you get that like drop of your stomach. I hate that feeling. So I just thought this is going to be terrible. But I've always been a person, I'm going to try everything once. I'll do it twice if it's nice. And so I was just going to do it the one time, and I was not scared at all. I couldn't sleep the night before just thinking like, this is crazy. Why would I do this? So as soon as I got on the airplane, all of it. My fear of heights has never come into play up there. And you don't get that stomach drop feeling. And so then after I did that, I was like, okay, I'm going to try that one more time. And I was like, okay. Like the whole point was to, you know, do something I was afraid of, and I'm not afraid of this. So I just kept kind of pushing it until I was like, I'll just get my license. Because then if I'm jumping on my own, surely then I'll be scared. But it's just, once you kind of understand the sport and how it works, it's not as scary because you know how to be safe and you know the backup systems. And like if somebody knocks me out in the sky, they hit me and they knock me out, my parachute will pull for me. Yeah, I've had 4 cutaways. Those, I thought my first cutaway would really make me scared. Did not at all. And
what's a cutaway?
A cutaway is when you look up and you're like, that parachute's not going to work. I need to pull out a new one. So you cut that one away and a new one. You pull your new one out.
And you go to the backup.
Yep.
And what would necessitate a cutaway? Like something's tangled up or it's some identified problem?
Yeah, mine were all after
what?
Yeah, it's something where you're like, I can't get this parachute is not going to land like it needs to, and I could get hurt. So I need to cut away, get a new one out. My biggest problem was like I got mine in a wingsuiting, so I had wingsuit plane out of a plane, and then
you've done the wingsuiting thing
when you're pulling. I'm like 84 wingsuit jumps, yeah, out of a plane.
Is that part of your 500 jumps, or in addition to your 500?
Yeah, no part of it.
The wingsuiting I've seen on Instagram, that's like when you dress up as a flying squirrel and you just go zipping around in the sky.
For sure.
You've done that 84 times. Why not? What happened on that 84th time that you said, no, thank you? Because there were 83 times where you were like, 83 times you did that. You were like, hell yeah. That tells me the 84th one, you really almost died.
I just kept thinking I'll get better at this, and I wasn't getting better at it. And it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of money because you gotta, And they won't let you touch a wingsuit until you have 200 skydives. Because it's very dangerous. And you're talking about like forward movements. So you have to know directions because you have to be able to like go away from the drop zone and then turn back and fly back to it before you pull. So a lot of wingsuiters don't even land because you get lost. And so I'm directionally challenged. You're flying faster. And then pulling, when you pull your parachute out, if you're not super stable and a lot of things can go wrong with that. Then your canopy will twist up, kind of like a swing set if you spin it. So your canopy will twist up like that, but now you're in a straitjacket. You can't even stop it, and then that makes your canopy just start spiraling towards the ground really fast. So you got to unzip everything, try to stop that, see if you can undo it. Then if you can't, you cut that away and pull a new one. But that's just a very frustrating. I never liked that feeling.
How much does one pay?
The wingsuit was terrifying because the first what?
No, tell me what happened the first wingsuit that was so terrifying?
The first wingsuit, like the guy tells me, he's like, okay, the most important thing though, we're just about to get out and tell you, like, don't inflate the wingsuit as soon as you jump out because then it'll hit you right back into the tail of the plane and you'll die. I was like, okay. So I was like, this is not for me. I shouldn't be doing this at all.
And how much does one pay for the privilege of facing your own death?
Once you get your license and you have your gear, it used to be $25 a jump. Now it's about $35 a jump. So you can get 5, 6, 7 jumps in a day.
That's actually much more affordable than I ever imagined.
I know. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah. When I was starting out, though, it was only $25 a jump, but it's gone up to $35. So.
And how much does a wingsuit run?
But getting your gear, getting your license. So a wingsuit, starting off, you have to start with a really small one, and then the goal is to build up to a big one. And so a wingsuit will run like $2,500 to $5,000, and then you got to get a bigger one, then a bigger one, then a bigger one. It's a real expensive part of the sport for sure. And then you can pretty much only wingsuit because you got to practice it so constantly. And the bigger your wingsuit, the more dangerous. You can spiral out, get knocked out. And it's just not good.
I would imagine you get to a certain point, and part of the pride is that you're packing your own parachute, you're double checking your own gear. This is not.
Sure. Yeah. You can pay someone to pack it though. I'm usually too lazy. Like I'm a physical therapist by trade. So like I work my hands all, I don't like to pack up parachutes when I'm jumping. I pay someone to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, I know how to pack it. Sure.
This is, I have to say, the only thing that's truly the only pro, I'm in the pros and cons list. I'm like, cons, scared of heights. Con, might get leg ripped off body. Con, might shatter both ankles. Con, illegal to many people get so addicted to the adrenaline of it that you have to commit crimes to do it in a way that satisfies your desperate cravings for adrenaline and dopamine. Pro, much more affordable than I realized once you get the gear, $25 a pop. I don't even think a plane gets off the ground for $25 a pop.
Well, the tandems are really what run it, because like those are what are expensive. So the people that come and do their first jump that are on the plane with you, they're really what's paying the drop zone, and that's what makes them their money. But it's just like, but also like traveling the world and getting to jump is super cool. Like once a year for a week in Egypt, they'll open the pyramids so you can skydive over them.
Have you done that?
Like that's just, it's a big goal. I really want to do it. But like, there's just so many cool things that people don't realize about skydiving that you can do that are really, it's just really fun. Like anytime I go on a trip, I kind of plan it around that. Like I'm going to spend a week here, but I know where the drop zone is. I bring my gear with me and I just go do a jump there and try to knock that state off the list, you know, or jumping in. I got to jump in England. That was crazy. I landed next to a cow. And then you're just meeting all these skydivers from other countries and people. It's a small community. So you meet people from all over the world.
I do like that I went from, I was like, have you ever jumped over the pyramids? And you were like, that's a major goal. But I have landed next to a cow.
In England, though, it was so cool. It was just, like, they let you jump through you can't jump through clouds here in the U.S. In England, you can jump through the clouds. That was fun.
Do you get wet when you jump through a cloud?
Jumping in the rain, I do not recommend. Not necessarily. If it's raining, you do. That just hurts, though. That just feels like pins because you're falling so fast. It's just like, ow, ow, ow. It's like, I want this skydive to end, please. It's horrible.
Do you jump with large groups? Have you ever done those things where everybody's like linking hands and doing choreography?
Yeah, well, I haven't done I've got friends that do like just broke a world record, like the 300 ways and stuff. Most I've done is a 20 way.
A 20 way, 20 people. What did you think about that guy who skydived from space that Red Bull sponsored?
Pretty cool, but it doesn't seem like fun. You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't know why that would be a goal, but I guess it's just to say you did it. Or the guy that like fell in the net. I was like, well, it's not really that impressive.
Wait, what guy?
Big net.
It's a guy that fell in a net.
Oh, there's a guy that jumped without a parachute, and he just put a big net and he landed in it. I mean, it was cool. Someone done it.
I just saw a video.
It's like it's a big net. If you miss it, then you're a terrible skydiver.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, the last thing I need is to land in a big net, just so I can But you feel so alive. I feel alive on the ground. I feel so alive.
I don't feel adrenaline though when you do it. I think you'd be surprised how much like you wouldn't be scared of heights and you wouldn't really get that big of an adrenaline rush.
But it is interesting because I
don't really get adrenaline with it.
I think about the life I live, and you know, many people. There's a lot of studies that a lot of people would say that public speaking and specifically trying to do comedy in front of a crowd is a bigger fear to them than diving out of a plane, which is shocking to me.
I would agree. I completely agree with that. I would never get up and do stand-up comedy. I'm terrified.
But I can just say, as someone who's done stand-up comedy for decades, to my knowledge, I don't know any stand-up comedy who started a set with both legs and then during the course of their set had a leg get torn off and had to tourniquet themselves in a moment of heroic desperation before passing out and shattering every bone in their face. I don't think that's ever happened.
Well, he doesn't even remember going through that, so he'll be fine. But the problem with the stand-up comedy thing, like, if you're going to die in skydiving, it's a splat. It's over. If you're bombing on stage, that's painful during it, and then you got to live with it afterwards and think about it a lot. I'm an overthinker. That's way worse than just splat, you know, in my opinion.
Oh, my goodness. Have you ever gone skydiving in my native land of New Jersey?
No, but there's a good skydiving spot up there that I've heard of.
What is it?
I'm trying to think of the name. But yeah, there's a skydiving facility up there. I used to have some people that jumped up there. I haven't really hit the East Coast. I've jumped in. I live out in Arizona, so I said Arizona, California, Utah, like all those. Washington, I've jumped in. But there's people that have jumped. I want to jump in all 50 states, and There's people that have done that. That's my goal. So skydive Cross Keys.
Skydive Cross Keys,
in
Williamstown,
New
New Jersey. Okay. That's
You guys have 3, it looks like. I'm just Googling it right now.
We are getting the same exact Google results right now. You and I.
You guys have a lot for New Jersey. I'm surprised by this.
New Jersey has it all. My advice to everybody out there, all these people, I'm surprised Jersey has this. Never be surprised when Jersey has anything you can think of. We got everything.
Impressive.
Everybody's got to stop being surprised.
So tight. I've never been to New Jersey. I got to be honest with you.
Come through. Dive over New Jersey.
What's the best thing to do in New Jersey?
Stay on the ground.
What's the best thing about
You'd
New
be
Jersey?
amazed.
Like, if I'm going to visit.
You'd be blown away how amazing it is to just walk around with your feet on the ground in New Jersey. It's so cool. You got to try it.
If I'm going to visit New Jersey, though, what do you got to do? What's the thing to do in New Jersey if you're visiting?
Dive out of a plane and land next to a cow. Land in cranberry bog. No, I mean, the number one thing, let's see. I mean, probably if you're only going to spend one day in New Jersey, go down the shore and eat a bunch of the best food of your life. Those are the 2 best things you can do in New Jersey. In one day.
What's the best food in New Jersey?
Oh, well, despite what many callers from Connecticut have said on this show over the years, we have the best pizza in the country.
Okay.
Most consistent
that's
pizza.
Bold statement.
Listen, there's places in New York and Connecticut that shoot shots at the highest possible level, but if you want just absolute consistency with no trash, it's New Jersey. You could walk into any pizza place in New Jersey, and it's better than most pizza you're going to get elsewhere. And our best pizza holds up against the best from Connecticut and New York. And the Connecticut people, calm down. Tweet at me if you have to. Send an angry email. We also have multiple varieties of hot dogs that are the best hot dogs in the country. Chicago people, I know right now you're flipping out. Throwing an entire cold, wet salad on top of a hot dog does not make it a better hot dog. I'm so sorry to tell you. We also have, it's us in New York for the best bagels in the country. Basically any working class food, let alone the fact that New Jersey is such a crossroads of immigration historically in this country, because so many immigrant groups wind up moving to pockets of New Jersey because there's access to the cities and access to a lot of jobs. And you wind up, like, even right now, go to Oak Tree Road down in that Edison. I think is it Edison or Metuchen or Woodbridge, but down there, it's some of the best Indian food in the country. Everything. We got everything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm from Kansas, so I'm not, we had nothing. I could have pointed in any direction and done better.
Yeah, I've driven across Kansas, and I like Kansas, and I've performed in Kansas.
That's what people say. It's not really tourism's down,
Yeah.
It's not really a tourist spot.
I got nothing against Kansas, but yeah, it doesn't strike me, that's the other thing in Jersey is you can drive pretty much the whole state in a day. You could see many, many things in the state in a day. Anyway, it's not about me. Okay. How do you, okay, let's get a little serious. Can I get a little serious? And we're going to pause before we do get serious. Still have so much more to talk about with this very compelling caller. In the meantime, though, we have advertisers. It's how the show survives. Listen to the ads. Some stuff in there that you might like. And we'll be right back with more phone call when we're done. Ooh, this one is on my mind right now. It's on my mind. You've been hearing me talk about Delete Me for a while. You can tell I am very passionate about the service they provide. I cannot stress enough to all of you, privacy matters so much, and we are living in a world where it's so important and crucial that you put some time and effort into protecting your privacy. I have a feeling that as kids now grow up, this will become a more and more standard thing. You buy a house, you get house insurance. You get old enough, you get life insurance. What are you doing to protect your privacy online? These are the types of things that I think should become more and more standard in every household's planning, because I'm telling you, your personal data, it's out there on the internet for anyone to see. Way more than you think. This is the reality of our times. Your name is out there, contact info, social security number can float around, home address, info on your family members and their addresses. It is wild, and it's being compiled by these data brokers and sold online. These data brokers, they make a profit by selling this data. It's a commodity, and anyone on the web can buy your private details. Sometimes that leads to stuff that's annoying. Sometimes you start seeing explosions of spam calls and things like that. That can be related to this stuff. You can also, though, start to see things like identity theft, harassment, and also situations where there might be people who want to know where you live for whatever reason, and they can find out straight up where you live. It's not ideal, but you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. I exist publicly. I have made a bunch of work that has developed a cult audience. It's made me hyper aware of safety and security, especially since my son has been born. And I am telling you, I have unfortunately been in some experiences where I've had to sweat it out, and I've had to realize personal information floating out there online is not safe. It's not healthy. That data, you don't want that hanging out on the internet. There can be real consequences in the world. And I personally recommend and use Delete Me. I have seen Delete Me set the bar higher than similar services in this world, and cannot stress enough how great a job they do. Delete Me is a subscription service that removes your personal info from hundreds of data brokers. You can sign up, provide Delete Me with what info you want gone. Their experts take it from there. They send you regular personalized privacy reports that show what info they found, where they found it, what they removed. It's not just a one-time service. Delete Me is always working for you, constantly monitoring and removing the personal info you don't want on the internet. Putting it simply, Delete Me does all the hard work of wiping you and your family's personal info from data broker websites. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private. Sign up for Delete Me, now at a special discount for our listeners. Today, you will get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/beautiful. Use the promo code beautiful at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is go to joindeleteme.com/beautiful. Enter code beautiful at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/beautiful. Code is beautiful.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Thanks so much to everybody who sponsors the show. Now let's finish the phone call. Let's get a little serious. Can I get a little serious?
For sure.
You're gung-ho about going back up there.
Yeah.
You've hurt yourself pretty bad. Your partner almost died, and
Not really.
honestly probably should have. Your partner, though, almost did, for real.
I know. He's so dramatic.
But all jokes
Sorry.
aside, you do have a kid together. How do you if your kid turned around and went, Ma, I gotta say, like, you're going back up, and I see you got hurt, Dad got hurt even worse, I'm scared. How do you react to that?
Right. I don't think he'd ever say that to me. When I told him about the accident with his dad, he goes, so both of my parents are broken? That was
Jeez.
funny. I was like, I might get better, but he's going to be okay. But yes, that's a fear. I do things like most skydivers would probably think I'm pretty lame because I play everything really, really safe in regards to that. That being said, you can still break yourself, as I obviously did. If he ever said that to me in all seriousness, though, I'd quit if he was really worried about it. I don't think he'd ever get to that point. I mean, he still wants to go when he turns 7, and he's not, he's kind of grown up on the drop zone his whole life. He's seen how it works. He's seen all the people that land just fine. I mean, but yeah, it's definitely something you have to think about, but I don't want my kid to also grow up just living in fear. Like this is life. You get one chance to live it. You can either do that or you can do nothing and on your deathbed wish you had. So I always told myself, because I didn't know after my ex's accident, I was kind of wondering if I'd ever go back to it. I was like, I got to go back to it once, because I don't want my kid to look at me and be like, oh, she broke herself and then quit. You know, like I was going to go back to it and do at least one more jump to show them, like, you don't just give up on stuff like that because you're afraid or whatever. That was always important to me. But
well, because, you know, you have found laughs. Clearly the laughs are a way to help cope. What else are you going to do? But you do also recognize that what happened to your ex, you can recognize that while you're making jokes, and that's part of your ability to move forward in life and rationalize it, and I'm sure part of the fear, the grieving, you're also aware that just the bullet points of the story of what happened to your ex are, without exaggeration, it's one of the most horrible stories I've ever heard. It's really scary. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you understand outside of the jokes.
Yeah, but it was also... Yes, but it was also 1,000% his fault and completely preventable. And I always knew that he was going to get himself injured with how he was kind of playing things fast and loose. So I wasn't even surprised.
Wow. So he was an adrenaline junkie.
I would say, I don't even know if he was an adrenaline junkie as much as, like, he just kind of wouldn't listen to other people telling him, this isn't very... I told him straight up that some of the stuff he was doing, I was like, that's going to get you hurt. Like I have a very big canopy I use. Other people typically get a smaller canopy. As you get better as a skydiver, you downsize. I keep a nice big canopy. The smaller your canopy, the faster you're going to come down. I don't need to look cool coming down. It looks cool. You're more likely to get injured. I just keep a nice big one. Doesn't look cool, but I come down nice and slow. And I still broke both my feet. He downsized really quickly and really unsafely, and that's why he broke his face when he passed out. I mean, he was coming in really hot. That's the decision he made, you know. There's decisions that you make that make it safer or, you know, more dangerous. Depends on what you want. And skydivers, too, just kind of like want to look cool. And that's never what it's been about for me. Some skydivers, though, really want to push the limits, and a lot of them get hurt.
Damn.
Yeah. I will say, though, like, my ex talking to me about it, he was like, yeah, I really want to go back to it. I'll be safer this time. I was like, you weren't being safe before? Oh, man. But, I mean, obviously, like, it's just the best life. I don't want to live life being afraid of life.
Do you think on a fundamental
Does that make any sense?
Do you think on a fundamental level that people who have gone skydiving at least once, their lives are better for it?
Oh, I don't think it's that life-changing. For somebody that just does one, I don't know. I think for me, like me personally, I just always was that person. If I was given the opportunity to try something, I felt the need to. Like I rode a real bull once just because someone told me I could. I was like, oh, okay, well, I've got to take advantage. I don't know when this will come up again. I would not do that again. But I just am one of those.
What?
I'm just one of those people. If the opportunity presents itself, like you got to grab it by the horns, literally. Like. Otherwise, what's the point of life?
What are the circumstances in which you wake up one day with no intention of getting on a bull, and by the end of,
like I said, by the end of the day, I paid $20 and I rode a real bull. I know. My mom was so mad about that one. I came home and told her she's like, a mechanical one. I was like, no, a real one. What?
Were there like rodeo clowns there to distract the bull once it threw you?
That's who. Yeah, that's the guy that talked me into it, actually. I met a rodeo clown, and he was like, oh, this is what I'm doing Friday night. Like, you pay $20, you can totally do it.
And when you met him, was he dressed as the clown, or he was just, like, out?
No, he was not. He was just out and about.
And then you...
Just convinced me to do it.
And then you do it. And how long are you on the bull before the bull throws you?
I got it was like $2 I was off. It was like not long at all, but like two other guys before me had fallen off in the gate. So I beat them. Proud of that. But it was not a fun experience. It was terrifying. I would never do that again. But I can say I did it.
It was more harrowing than skydiving?
Yeah. Yeah, and not fun at all. Nothing about that was enjoyable. Nope. But I just said that's my viewpoint of life. Like you just gotta, I don't know, you gotta try it all.
How much did it
wishing I had tried something.
How much did it cost you to ride the bull?
$20.
20. Cheaper than skydiving.
Yes.
Who knew that all these completely terrifying activities are so economically feasible? I had no idea.
And it was weird. It was like an indoor bar in Kansas. They had an entire like rodeo little setup inside this huge barn thingy. Just have random bull riding.
When people in the Midwest get bored, they really react poorly.
You'd be amazed.
They really react poorly to boredom.
I'm like, bull riding? You can get more creative than that.
Just the idea of like, hey, there's not much
who's
to do in this
fun
area.
Doing that?
Let's put in our bar.
The bull's not enjoying it. You're not enjoying it.
Let's have a live animal in our bar and let bored people put themselves in the path of death.
Yeah. The other rodeo clown that was working that night before as I'm signing up, he was his first night back. He had taken a horn. It literally tore him a new butthole. Like it went right in. Yeah, I was like, oh, this sounds great. This sounds like who would be a rodeo clown? What's the benefit of that?
And you heard about that incident before you rode the bull?
Yes, just right before. I mean, as I was signing up.
It was the same night.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to do stuff in life. What's the other? What else is?
Me?
I don't know how people just sit there and go to their job and just do boring stuff. Like, my whole point is you don't have to try skydiving, but you should challenge yourself in life to do something terrifying.
See, me though, I'm like, if I'm in the queue, if I'm like, my name is on the list to ride the bull, and they're gonna call me at some point tonight, and in between the time when I put my name on the list and they tell me it's my turn, someone else, the bull, tears them a new asshole, not in a turn of phrase way.
Well, it was his first night back. He had recovered.
Okay,
back from
it's my first night doing it too. Oh, it was his first night. So it had previously. It was his triumphant return. In the course of it, though, if I sign up for an activity and before my name gets called, I find out someone else present here has done this before, and it led to them having two assholes on their body, I don't feel. At that point, I feel my philosophical, like, you got to try things in life. I go, you also just need one asshole. So I take my name off the list. And you're
that
acting.
Does make logical sense.
You're acting like I'm the ridiculous one.
No, you're not. I'm not telling you to go ride a bull, by the way. I'm just saying, I've just never wanted to turn down something because it's scary. Also, it was his job to get the bull to chase him anyway, so he was kind of asking for it. I wasn't asking the bull to turn me into asshole, so it was a little different. You know, we were both bringing different things.
You never want to say, like, well, look at how he was dressed, but he was dressed as a clown in a bull ring. I guess at that point you can say, yes, you are. This is a job risk. A bull might use its horn to
and you know what? And he
your
protected me from the bull. The bull didn't come after me after I got ripped off. So. Who knows? Plus, if he was coming back to it, clearly couldn't have been that bad.
And you're a physical
therapist.
therapist.
It make things more efficient down there. You never know.
You're a PT by trade.
I am.
So you also understand what happens when long-term injuries set in or catastrophic injuries set in.
Sure, but I don't know. I just dealing with life. I don't know. It just never bothered me.
I will say
it's gotta be fun though.
For all my grumpiness and all me being like, wait, but I do fundamentally agree with you more than people who play it safe. I don't know that I would. I don't know that
you just do it in different ways, like doing stand up and stuff. Like that's terrifying. You can do it in safe ways. Obviously, I don't know why I choose the dangerous one.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do fundamentally agree with you that I do think that life has so many opportunities to do things that you didn't see coming when you woke up in the morning, and that you do owe it to yourself to every once in a while wind up doing a thing where everybody else goes, whoa, wait, what? And you go, yeah, no, it's, helps me get out of this tunnel visioned track of how things are supposed to be, and you actually start thinking about opportunities and meeting them where they are. I do fundamentally agree with you.
Yeah.
I just don't fling myself out of planes.
See, but I wish I could try stand up, but I'll never be able to do it. I'll never have the courage to do that.
I think you'd be fine at it, actually.
Isn't that weird?
I think you'd be totally fine.
No, I think I'd be terrified. I don't think I could do it. So, like, it's just funny how that's the difference. So I'd rather throw myself out of plane. I might even ride a bull again before I would do that. That's just so scary to me. I don't know how you get up there and talk in front of people.
It's I understand why it scares people, but I do fundamentally disagree. Like, I'd rather do stand up in the worst environment I can think of than have to flee from an angry bull. Like, I just fundamentally, but styles make fights.
That does logically make more sense, I will say.
What else? I can't imagine if you've ridden a bull and done 500 skydives. I can't imagine these are the only two things on your list of ridiculousness.
I don't know what else crazy I've really done with it. Those are probably the main ones I would think of. I mean, I'm just trying to think of, like, yeah, just if somebody tells me to do something crazy, I'll try it. I think I'm always kind of up for that, but it's got to be presented. I don't go looking for it. Actually, the person that convinced me I rode dirt bikes. The person that convinced me to ride dirt bikes was the person that convinced me to try skydiving once. And it was a patient I had who broke his arm dirt biking.
It was a patient. You were helping the patient heal.
I was a PT. Yeah, and he was like, you need to try dirt biking, you need to try skydiving. And so that's why I went out that weekend and did my first skydive.
Being a PT, it must offer you perspective too, though, because you're like, you probably deal with you deal with somebody who has a dirt biking injury and convinces you to dirt bike. But I bet you also see people where it's like, this person just threw their back out, reaching up too high to try to get a mug off a shelf. And if you're going to wind up with a broken body anyway, as all of us age, I guess you might as well have some fun in the process.
And most of them are just people that are sitting at a desk and then they throw their back off, standing up.
Is that your
Although now I work with kids. After COVID, I switched over to pediatrics. I only work with babies from 0 to 3 now.
Oh, wow.
They don't talk back at all.
And I would imagine, is that mostly kids who are born
have issues?
Yeah, and need to have someone just train their bodies.
Some of them just aren't meeting their milestones, or a lot of them born drug addicted.
That's really beautiful work to do. I mean, it sounds really hard, but it's also really to help kids.
Oh, it's just really fun. You're just playing with kids. It's not really hard. You just get to play with them.
But
I love it.
The emotional toll of that, a lot of them are drug addicted, and to have to turn off the emotions or the judgment that comes along with that, like, that's not an easy. In some ways.
Oh, I judge in my head. Don't worry.
Oh, you do. You do. You just have.
But it's not the kid's fault.
Right.
Well, the mom's not there. I'm with foster parents.
Wow.
But I'd say inpatient was worse. Inpatient, during COVID, I was working at a hospital that already had people on vents and trachs. That was like our specialty. That was what made me kind of quit all that. I was done. Burned me out quite quick.
I bet.
Just watching people that are dying and they can't even see their family members. And, ugh.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, so go out and skydive. That's what you got to do.
It does offer some perspective, though. If you're professionally in an environment where you're seeing the exact type of stuff you just mentioned unfold, it must give a perspective on, I want to live my life to the fullest. I want to go hard at that, and I will go big at that. I get that.
Yep. It also contributes to my dark humor, I would say.
Yeah.
Probably where that comes from a little bit.
It does seem like you've been in a number of situations where again, I think one of the powers of humor is just, there are so many things at life that if you don't find a way to laugh about it, you will actually lose your mind. It sounds like you've been in a few of those.
Yeah, who hasn't?
Yeah.
Life. Got experience it all.
That's true. That's true.
Can't know happiness if you don't know sadness. It'd be impossible.
How do you how do I want to phrase this one? you're somebody who's out here that's like, I ride bulls. I don't just do skydiving.
Once, never again.
Well, like I don't just do skydiving. I do the flying squirrel thing. I do the stuff people put on social media. Like I do the real extreme stuff. And you said you're going to cool out with some of that. But then you're also a mom of a younger kid. And I know from being the dad of a kindergartner right now, that also means sometimes it's like, oh, I got an email from the teacher.
Terrifying.
But like, how do you do it when it's like I spent the whole weekend jumping out of a plane and now I have to go have a conversation with like other parents at some school event, and the other parents are like, you know, talking about stuff that is relatively so mundane. Is that?
I feel very awkward.
Yeah.
Like all the parents look like parents. I'm like, how do they do this? I do not look like a parent. Like they all look like adults that have their life together and they're just normal. I don't know how to converse.
Do the other parents aware of this side of your personality? Are they aware that you're putting on a wingsuit and landing next to cows in England?
They just think you're crazy.
They do.
They just think you're crazy. Yeah, they give you that look like, okay, she's a little, something's off there. Some screws loose.
I know that feeling myself. I sometimes am at school events,
and it is like I am afraid I'll be a bad influence on my kid, and he'll start doing some of this stupid stuff.
Maybe,
that's
but also, I mean, it also gives me hope for your kid. Because I know I've been at, well, no, because I feel like I've been at school events where I go, and I'm not judge. You know, I try not to judge. And that thing of, oftentimes those of us who feel a little judged in life turn very judgmental. And I've clocked that so many times, and I try to resist that. But when I am in a room where literally every dad in the room has like a polo shirt tucked into their shorts and is wearing a vest over that, and there's almost like an upper middle class uniform, and they're all wearing it.
Yeah.
And then one of them is like, so I heard a rumor you do comedy, you do acting stuff. And I'm like, oh, they've all discussed me and I'm weird to them. Like I'm weird to them. And they're all wearing outfits that are the same. And I am not of this.
Yeah.
It is strange. And then I'm in a school environment where
it's really strange.
Yeah, where my kid wants his hair. Hallie dyed her hair blue recently, and Cal was like, "Can I dye my hair?" And Hallie was like, "Yeah, of course. Like, we're not a family that's going to say no." And Hallie had bought she dyed hers blue, but she had bought a few colors because she wasn't sure. And Cal was like, "I want all the colors." And Hallie's like, "All right, let's dye half your head is gonna." He was like, "Leave half of it blonde and then just do the other half as a rainbow." And it's like, we'd be pretty hypocritical if we were like, "No, I don't want other kids to make fun of my kid if he has color." Like, nope, that's who we are. So our kid's the kid with the rainbow hair, and I'm the weird dad in the corner. And you know, you do feel that way sometimes.
Well, and my thing with the kids, I know you definitely do, but the other thing with kids, if you do tell them no, it's just going to make them want to do it more. Or at least that was me growing up. So,
do you ever?
It's just.
Oh yeah, no. Finish the thought.
No, I don't even know where I was going with it. You go.
Do you ever sometimes also feel though when you're like, you know, I think you expressed a version of it, and I feel it too. Of like, I hope my kid is, you know, the boundaries of my life are a little different than other people's. I hope my kid doesn't fall into any nonsense because it. I also sit there though, and I go, oh. A parent like you, and on my best days, I sometimes think like me. I go, oh, well, if there are other kids my kid is growing up with, and there are other kids that are different or are not destined to live in a standard way, I also hope that they now know there's one door in this town they can knock on and won't be judged for that. I do feel good about that.
Yeah. Yeah. That should be, though. Sad that that's the thing that kids have to worry about. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I always want my kid to feel that way, and I would hope any of his friends could come over and feel safe.
Now, our time is up. We're going to go behind the paywall momentarily, but again, Andrea sometimes lists ideas. I don't know. There's got to be a word for this. Ideas that I fundamentally hate, but they are such good ideas that I do have to at least put them on the record. But Andrea has suggested, again, perhaps that when we make it to 1,000 episodes someday, that you and I that I strap myself to your chest and we do a tandem jump together?
I am absolutely down for that.
Have you ever
Please,
tandem jumped
I
with
would
someone? Have you
100%.
ever been the veteran with a tandem jumper?
You have to have 500 jumps to do it, so I'm close to being able to get that certification. But I can jump out and film it while you're attached to somebody, so I could fly around you and give you a high five.
Andrea, if we have to take, I'm just going to say this and then we're going behind the paywall. If we have to take some of the money we earn from hawking these products to travel to Kansas so I can jump out of a plane because that's undeniably a good idea, I'm going to be so mad at you, Andrea. Andrea is now typing, I will take a pay cut to see this happen.
I love you, Andrea.
What episode are we on now, Andrea?
Amazing.
What episode are we on now?
That is an important question. What if it's like 998?
We're on now. It's 463. And there is a part of me that's like, do we go to 1,000 or is this episode 500?
Also, like, I know all the instructors, so I would pick the really safe ones for you. Think about that. That's the place to do it. We got the largest drop zone in the world here.
There is another ridiculous idea being floated for episode 500 already, though.
I'll wait till 1,000. I don't care.
The other idea involves Perth, Australia, but we'll talk about that later. Caller, are you down to hang out, answer some questions behind the paywall?
Absolutely.
This was really, honestly, such an incredible call. I learned so much. Thank
you so much for letting me call.
I felt feelings of legitimate fear and discomfort. I hope you're okay. I hope your ex is okay. I hope you get back out there. It's your heart's desire. And we'll say goodbye to everybody listening for free now.
Yes, goodbye.
Caller, thank you so much. It really means the world that we talked. I was in such a bad mood when we started, and I'm in a really good mood now. And that's a legitimate reflection of you and the energy you bring to things and your attitude and the spirit you bring to life, even though you did tell me some things that are some of the most disturbing stories I've ever heard. Anyway, this show's produced by Andrea Quinn. Thanks so much, Andrea. Our theme song's by Shell Shag. Go to punchup.live/Chris Gethard for tickets to my shows, including that show hosted by Chris Gethard, which you can get live tickets for. You can get streaming tickets for. We have a voicemail line. It's 973-306-4676. We are on Instagram at Beautiful Anonymous Pod. We have a TikTok as well. And of course, if you want to discuss episodes with other listeners, go to the Facebook group. It's called Beautiful Anonymous, the community. This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions.
I won't go further than my feet going in the ocean. I don't trust the ocean. I have a real fear of it.
You won't swim in the ocean, but if somebody's like, hey, see that bull? Get on it. You're like, yeah, shut up. Yeah.
We know more about outer space than we do about the ocean. That's not okay. I'm not okay with that.
You jump out of planes. I'm not saying you're wrong about the ocean and space. I'm just saying you jump
how many
out
sharks I have to avoid in the sky? 0. I've been hit by 0 sharks in the sky.
Have sharks ever pinned you down and broken both your ankles at the same time?
No, because I won't let them. I'm not going out like that.
Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
O'Reilly.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.